Sometimes we're scared to show our talents and sometimes we're afraid to shine our light. But there's a reason that we have the light. There's a reason that we have the talents. And it's okay. Give yourself permission. I think I've come to realize we don't have to wait for it. Just step out on faith and see what happens.
Hey there, I am so excited about this episode because we are joined by a certified dream manager, Jenelle Robers. And Jenelle, this is your second time on the show. Welcome back.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I'm so excited to dig into this because not only are you the dream manager for Lehan's, but you are also, you're pursuing one of your own dreams. So we're going to dig into both of those things. And so if you are someone listening who has a dream that's been stirring in your heart for a while, and you just haven't actually started pursuing it, you're going to be inspired by Jenelle's story. So I'm very excited for people to hear this episode. And so before we dig into what your dream is and all the things that it took to pursue it and really making it happen, why don't you share with us a little bit of an overview now of where you were? You were on the show like over a year ago now. Lehan's has had some changes. You're growing and continuing to help people dream. So tell us a little bit about the growth of Lehan's.
Absolutely. So yes, I came to be with Lehan's, about 3 years ago, I think, and was certified shortly after. And so, a great place to work, great place to be. And just, I don't know how many months it's been, but I was running a very successful program here, certified dream manager, plenty of people in the program, loved it. And then just, maybe we're like 6-7 months ago, Lehan's was acquired by the Volman company. So now we're even larger. The company's even greater. It's just nice to see a really good pairing. I believe that our owners, Jim, John, Bree, Lehan, they really did a great job in finding a company that has like-minded values. They're like-minded people. I just think it's such an interesting pairing. I think that it also allows the employees to grow. The company's growing. It's a very exciting time around here. So it's just super cool to see everybody be able to maybe consider their lives personally and professionally in a little bit of a different way. It's a very neat time here.
Oh, I love that because, you never know. There are employees when there's an acquisition that happens, it's not always great and they're kind of shifting the culture and the leadership. And so to hear that it was such a great pairing and partnership is beautiful. And of course, that emphasis on growth and personal growth for the people. And so you're going to continue to be their dream manager, helping more and more people achieve their dreams. And you'll get to work even more closely one-on-one with the team. So we're excited because that means you'll probably have more dream managers too with all the people that you have.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're starting and hopefully creating a really good foundation so that we have something sustainable. But, you mentioned leadership and I did too. I touched on it, but it's just so neat to see these different leadership teams come together with the same goals for their employees. I love that because, Lehan's has always been so rich with values in their values. They make a point to consistently go over them, and that's how Vimed is too. So it's just a really great pairing. Yes, hopefully more dreamers, possibly more dream managers one day. Sky's the limit, really. Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh yeah, we'll be with you all along the way. I have no doubt it's going to be so fun. All right, so this is really cool because you have leadership that they actually breathe and live what they preach, right? Like you have a dream or you had this dream like we all do, and you started pursuing it, and it happens to be having your own business. And we talk to a lot of leaders, Jenelle, and it's so funny because we get questions sometimes like, well, what if one of my employees' dreams is to have a business or to leave the company? And they come from a place of fear, like, oh, this person is going to leave, or it always sparks up an interesting conversation. And so for you to have this dream of starting a business and actually pursuing it, like, what was that whole experience like? Like, how long had you had this dream? Did you even think it was possible? How did you approach your leadership? Like, what went through your mind to even start this process of pursuing this beautiful dream?
Yeah, absolutely. Such good questions. And it takes me back, right? Like as you're asking me the questions, my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many things. But like we mentioned before, to have a leadership team that is so supportive of the things that we want to do, the things, our dreams, it's a huge deal. It allows you to go through your day with a little bit more certainty for your own job role and confidence, because it's all about growth, essentially, is what they're supporting, right? They want us to grow personally and professionally. So I've wanted a business pretty much since I was a teenager. And, when I think back, it's actually kind of funny because I remember having an aunt who sold candles and somebody else who sold, like the parties that women would have in their homes. And I did that. I sold candles, I sold jewelry, I sold clothes. And I was always leaning toward and consistently thinking about the things that I was good at, the things that came natural to me, because I was like, there's got to be something. There's got to be something. And I would think that year after year, day after day, and it just didn't come. It didn't happen. And then Dream Manager for me, when I began to fulfill this role, I started to understand and realize this is just who I am as a person. And the more I did it, the more I was attached to it. And the dreamers that are here, it's so spectacular that I get to take these different journeys with them. And so much so that I'm just connected to it. And so obviously the question had to be, well, how do I do more of this? How do I do this with the people who are naturally not in this company, but interested in what I do? I have so many people in my life who are so important to me, and giving them a dream storm, allowing them to just wrap their minds around the idea that it's not just for employees in certain companies. This is for all of us. That's what got my mind rolling. So it became a part of my language. It became just a part of who I was even outside. It kind of starts to infiltrate the system. You know all about that. And so at the time of the acquisition, it became a question of, what does this look like moving forward? How can I do more of this? And because leadership here is so supportive, I have the opportunity to be able to do it inside the company and outside the company. So once you give me that green light, it's go time. I'm not going to act like, it's not daunting or there was no fear. There was definitely fear. I didn't just turn it on and go. I had to question some things, but ultimately it got to, why wouldn't I do this? If I was already running something successful inside of a company and people are talking to me outside of the company about it, why wouldn't I? So I had to kind of jump in. I went to a really, really good intentional networking event. And that's kind of, to be honest, that's where I kind of just jumped. They were, to be around other supportive people outside of, that's what it takes. Sometimes you got to find your people. And I found my people. I found support. I found people who were already doing their thing, some that were like me, looking to build. But, when you get it together with those minds, that the only thing we talk about is growth, the only thing we talk about is moving forward and how we fulfill our own dreams. When you're around those people, there's not really much that can stop you. So I figured, why wouldn't I? Wasn't even good enough anymore. I just had to go. I had to go and do it. My family's supportive. My church family's supportive. I'm surrounded and wrapped in support. So long answer, but that's how I got here.
So that's so awesome. There might be someone that's listening and thinking, now, it's interesting because your dream of having this business is obviously just an extension of what you're doing for work. So you just kind of get to bring it out into the community. But for somebody that's listening that has a dream of starting a business, whether it's doing something online, selling their artwork, or almost like, people call it like a side hustle, right? Like maybe it's something
Sure.
like that. And they think, oh my gosh, Jenelle, how did you even approach your leadership about that? I don't want I don't want them knowing that what I'm doing outside of the office. I don't want them knowing about my dream of having a business because they might think, oh my, they might fire me. Like those are some thoughts that when we're talking to people about what you should and shouldn't be sharing with your leader, what are your thoughts around sharing these kinds of dreams with your leadership?
That's a really great question. And I don't think that there's one answer to it, to be honest with you, because I really think that it has everything to do with the culture that's established. I can't speak for every company, but I can speak for the companies. This is not the first company that I worked for where the culture was built on development. And I think that you just have to, have that discerning mind. I don't know that everyone's open to it. But I do think that when you find someone who is open, someone who is currently living their own dreams and encouraging you, those are your green lights. Those are the little pieces and details that you need to be able to say, well, wait a minute. I think that they're allowing me to think outside the box a bit more than I had considered originally. And I think if you get those green lights, it's then time to say, you know what? I look at my art. Look at my talent that I have, right? Which allows that relationship to really blossom because maybe they don't even know that you have those interests. But if you communicate those and you build the relationships, because that's what it comes back to also, is relationship building. And I think that that's very important. And sometimes we're scared to show our talents and sometimes we're afraid to shine our light. But there's a reason that we have the light. There's a reason that we have the talents. And it's okay. Give yourself permission. I think oftentimes we're waiting for permission sometimes. I think I've come to realize we don't have to wait for it. It's already been given. So just step out on faith and see what happens for sure.
Yeah. Oh, people, I know the whole waiting for permission is no, you don't need anyone else's permission. It's write your own permission slip and just get after it, especially when you have this dream. Like you had mentioned before we press record, you were saying that it felt like something was missing in your life. And I think that is such a common feeling among so many people in different phases of life, right? Like in different phases, you have that feeling of things are okay, things are fine, but something's missing. Like, and what is that? And to kind of explore what that looks like. So tell us a little bit about that feeling and how that really led into, all right, now is the time I'm going to go for it.
In my past roles, I was very customer facing and I dealt with a lot of people in and out all day in different roles that I had. And I did feel like something was missing. Not that everyone in the program and the teams and the different people I worked with, it's not that they weren't fulfilling that. It's just, it was in a different way. So I started to realize it's the community. It's getting out and helping more people. There was just something missing in there and having something of my own because there is that creative part of me that does like to glean from different people. It does like to create my own stuff. I'm able to do it here within the Dream Manager program. I'm able to have my own events and bring the dreamers together in a different way, but there was still something else that I needed. And it's really for me that outside collaboration with people that I might have met at the coffee shop. It's the different artists that are doing all of the things. Like I'm a lover of people, so you can't put me in a box too much because I'm waiting to push out the box. So the more I find, the more people I'm able to connect with, that's the basis of me. It's connection. I'm on the chamber board here for our city that I live in. I've been there since I was a young girl. So it's all about connection. I wish I could wrap that up with a bow and explain it a little bit better. But I just love people, Kate. I love people. I love being around them. I love helping them. I love the stories from different people. So I just realized I was missing something and it wasn't just one thing, but I had a lot of buckets to fill. So I just started running toward the buckets and filling them. And so far, so good.
I love that you shared in the beginning, which just, this is a beautiful little bow to wrap it up with, was you talked about the support. How supportive everyone was. You found your people. And that is such an important piece that some people miss is find your people Like when you are passionate about something and you find your people that are also passionate and excited and driven, like that is what we need. We're all growth minded. We all want to get better. We all want to grow. We all know that there's always room to become a better version of ourselves. And so that alone is inspiring to be around those people because we're there to create a plan to have your best year ever. Who wouldn't want to be in a room of people that are striving to have their best year ever this year and every year? And so to find your people is extremely important. I worked at a chamber of commerce for 8 years. So you say chamber and my heart just lights up because I'm such an advocate of chambers of commerce and their ability to really get people in a room and for us to have those networking opportunities to meet those people. And you're in the perfect role as a dream manager to do what you're doing. You do this for Lehan's, but then let's talk about, so you started this business, you kind of pushed through the fear, you got it started. It's been so much fun watching you online. You're doing dream storms in your community and you're sharing stories about people that are dreaming again. So what does this look like? Because we do have some people that contact us that are more solopreneurs. They want to have a coaching business. They don't really know what that looks like when it comes to Dream Manager. So share with us a little bit about your experience in starting to launch the business. Like, how are you introducing the Dream Manager to people and then inviting them to use you as their coach?
Sure. Yeah. So I find that the Dreamstorm is just the perfect, it's the perfect piece to get out there and explain this thing because everyone can connect to those different categories that we use, right? So yes, I had a business launch in December, the beginning of December, and what we did there, it was a beautiful, beautiful. It's called the Greenhouse here in Sycamore. It's essentially a coffee shop, but we had after hours there. And I invited whoever wanted to come because I know that there are people always kind of peeking at the fact that this certified dream manager exists, but never quite knowing how to dip their toes in. So I just put the invite out there online and I said, I've got, I think maybe 30 spots just because of the venue size. And I invited them there for chili. It was a cold night, so we had chili. I had a live band there. It was a jazz band. That's another thing that I do for the school district where I live. I'm the president of the Music Boosters. So I like to have, if I can get music for an event, those kids are living their dreams. So I always liked dreamers around me. So literally, it was a high school jazz combo and everyone was shocked, like, wait, what? These kids are in high school? I'm like, yeah, they're dreaming right now. They're living their dreams. Support them. I know. It was so cute.
Jenelle just runs her town over there. You're like, I'm on this board. I run I'm like, I'm on the chamber. I'm with the school. What are you, the mayor too?
I know, right? Maybe no. I have no desire for that. But, it's connection. It's back to that connection. What you just said about the Matthew Kelly event, I experienced in that room that evening because I was able to look around the room and see people from all different walks of life. And so we sat down once we mingled a bit, had some chili, we sat down and had a dreamstorm. I also filled them in on what the Dream Manager program looks like, what I've been doing for my company, and just how it's been working for us. And then we had the dreamstorm, and these are people who have not experienced anything like this before. So to look around the room my fourth grade teacher was there. She gave me some of my early dreams. So it was also giving back because it's that community feel of such an eclectic group. Magic. To me, that was magic. I love being able to do dream storms. And I really do think that as a dream manager, if the more dream storms we can get out there, the more we can allow people to create those lists, go home, sit there with the list, maybe talk to their spouse about the list, their friends, their family. That's how we slowly start to get this idea of dreaming to be widespread. I know that people touch on it. I know that we talk about it in very, relaxed manners. But if we can create a little bit more structure to our different communities about it, I just believe that it drives everything. I believe that people can have more fulfilled lives. I believe that they can be more joyful. And then I also explain the rhythm of life. because I think it's very important for people to understand that balance. And we're not just getting in sessions talking about dreams, but we're also talking about our spiritual, intellectual, emotional, and physical health, because those are the things that allow us to feel balanced and to achieve our dreams. But, we have to talk about that stuff, right? So just giving people the idea and the knowing that it's a very well-rounded program, and then allowing them to say their support within the program for you to achieve your dream. So just explaining it in the best way, I guess the most heartfelt way for you, wherever your light and your heart can shine through in this process. That's the place, that's the zone I think that we all just need to operate from.
I love that you are so passionate about making dreaming more accessible to everyone. I talk to my team about this sometimes because we're in the business of dreaming. And so I think it can be very easy to forget that most people, this is not the conversation that they're having with their family and their friends every day.
Right.
They're not creating those lists. And so for you to give them this gift of a dream storm to start dreaming, it's like that permission we talked about. For a lot of people, they don't feel they have permission to dream because they have to, quote unquote, be responsible and do the right thing. But your dreams are, I think a lot of people think dreaming means these huge, big, unattainable, like I want a mansion on the water and become a billionaire. And if you want that, great, put it on the list. Sure. But there's the dreams that we see, and I'd love to hear some of the dreams that you're seeing at these dream storms, because they are very similar all over the place. No matter if we do a dream storm here in Florida or in Illinois or in California or in Texas, it's, there's always dreams around financial. People want to be financially free, get out of debt. People want to buy their first home. People want to start a business. A lot of people want to have a better relationship with their spouse. Those are the dreams that we see. A lot of health dreams, right? Like losing weight, getting more fit, running a marathon. And those are dreams. Like these are the things that you can actually achieve and work towards. And we see, and I love this, is when we see somebody that says, I have been talking about this project, like maybe there's like a piece of art or something they wanted to create. And they said, I've been talking about getting back to art or painting for years and years. And because they have a coach, they have this dream manager that's pushing them. They're like, oh my gosh, not only did I create a space in my home that I get to do this, but now I'm creating every day and I have so much more energy and enthusiasm, and I'm so happy when I paint, and I've started to create artwork in my home and put it up, and all of these things come to fruition that never would have otherwise, and from a dream that they've been talking about forever, and they just needed a little bit of support. So I know you love stories, so tell us some of the stories that you are experiencing by doing these dream storms.
Yes. Well, and yes, I'm like speechless, because what you're talking, some people will come to me and say, well, what's the difference between a goal and a dream? And it really does give me pause, because they can be synonymous. But to me, in watching and hearing all these stories, that dream is deep in there. It's like a driver. It's like a vibe. It's like an energy. It's this life force of its own that's actually, once it starts to come out, you start tackling and achieving so many more things, like you're saying. So they are synonymous, but at the same time, the dream has been there. It's got so much foundation. And I saw it that evening. And sometimes you can trip yourself up because you're like, okay, another dream storm. I've done this. Every single time. Every single time I'm shocked. But I had a business owner there. And oh my goodness, she is very successful. Beautiful flower shop with her sister. She left that night with 137 dreams. Never seen it before. I was completely amazed, because here I'm thinking, this girl has achieved so many things, this woman, okay? But, we're young, so I can say girl. But she left with 137 dreams. I went to their business the next week, and it was the holiday, so it was kind of crazy. And I walked up to the counter, And they just said, thank you so much. We have not had an evening like that to just dream. We work so hard on the business, but nobody's really asking us our dreams and moving forward. That alone was a magnificent win for me, because we think that we see people and they're successful and they're doing the things that we might even want to do, but they still have more inside of them. So there was that. I had a couple couples in the room, and what I love about that is that, everyone's creating their own list, right? And then the couples, they go home and maybe they wake up for breakfast and they have their coffee and they're talking about their lists together, which is automatically now enhancing their relationship. But maybe they're saying something they've never even knew that their spouse wanted. Now they have plans for the year. They have things to talk about other than children, other than work. Those things are important. We need them. But now we're talking about connection on a deeper level. I just truly believe in my heart that if we can spread that, if more people can have access to that, not that I'm a superhero, but I have a feeling we can change a lot of the world. And that's what tethers me to the work. It really does. But I had retired people in the audience. I had people my kids were in the audience, or, my kids were there. They still create dream lists with me. They're kind of a little bit of getting over it, but they've got lists. But they do go back to their lists because it does help them in their different phases of life. My husband was there. I had people who work for the electric company who just were like, wait, what are you asking me to do? They're out there working hard every day. Nobody's asking them about their dreams. So obviously, I could talk a long time about this, Kate, but it's really, really great.
That's so awesome. And you know what I love about your kids? They are going to think about when they get older and they're in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. They're going to be like, remember when mom made us dream? But they have an appreciation for it now, but when they're older, they're going to thank you so much for pushing them and helping them to dream. Like, just you're giving them that gift. And that's what I love about when they're going through the Dream Manager program and it just spills over into their life. It can't not, because exactly like what happened to you, it's like, once you uncover this, once you have this new way of thinking, you want to share it with other people. You want to start asking people about their dreams. And for us to be able to gift our children with that idea, like never stop dreaming. Like we can dream at every age and stage and season. We need it. Like it's like air. We have to have it. Like Matthew talks about in his book, life is transition. It's just one big transition. We're always transitioning. Whether it's a new job, a new season, kids are going to school, like all the things that happen in life. And we've got to have that dream that's our anchor to help move us forward so that we can get through the messiness of life, because life is messy. And so dreaming helps us to get through all of that stuff. We like to do like some type of a takeaway, something that people can kind of use for each episode. And I was thinking, you've worked with so many dreamers and one-on-one where they're sharing with you not only their dreams, but you're holding them accountable to the dreams. What is the biggest roadblock, the biggest challenge that most people have to go through in order to achieve that dream? Like, what's stopping people? Like, what is one thing that you've worked, that you see as kind of like that theme that you have to help a lot of people work through?
If I had to pick something, I think it'd be along the lines of us, maybe as people not always recognizing and realizing that we have power and talents and a light. I can't help but go back to that light because I had to remind myself of it. I think that we all have a light and we all have something to give to the world. And I think that's where it's at, right? I think that we bury our dreams, but in the dreams, oftentimes we access our light and our power. But I think for some reason, our journeys through life, maybe our light is just very dim, or our power has been buried due to circumstances and just different things. But I think that I would just want to remind people, or want to tell people who maybe have never even heard it, that you do have a light and you are special and you do deserve to achieve the things that you desire. I think that that's very important. And maybe it sounds cliche, but you're worthy. You are. You're worthy of achieving your dream. It doesn't matter what's happening around you. Your dream is yours. It's inside of you for a reason, and no one can take it from you. Just do it. Just step out on faith. It's okay. Yeah.
Sometimes we all just need to hear that during different seasons. So that's beautiful. Well, Jenelle, thank you so much for sharing your experience. This is so exciting. We're just grateful for you to continue to do this work and to expand it out into your beautiful community where people obviously already know you, love you, and trust you. And I'm just excited to see how you build the business, how you continue to work with Lehans, and anything that we can do to support you. Obviously, we're here. We're here to help you help people dream.
Yes, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. I love this program. You guys have established something so great. You're always so helpful and supportive to us. And yeah, I just can't thank you enough. And thank you for this opportunity today.
Yeah, we'll have to have you come back next year. Who knows what you'll be dreaming about then.
That's right.
Thank you so much for listening and for being here. We appreciate you. We hope that there was at least one thing, and there's got to be at least one thing that Jenelle talked about that inspires you to move your dream forward. And if you are at all interested in what this whole Dream Manager certification looks like, or if you might want to become a certified dream manager, it is life-changing. Of course, we would love to connect with you, and you can also go to thedreammanager.com. Thank you again for being here and for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next time.